the materials you're going to need for this project are a plain yarn for the inside part of the hat that's not going to be visible. So this is a Pound of Love that I've already had open, so it doesn't have a label. I have a shiny black yarn called I Love This Yarn, and I have a gold impeccable yarn as well. And for the two pom-poms, I have a large pom-pom maker, but you can make the pom-poms in whatever method that you want. We're going to begin by casting on with our interior yarn. So this is the black Pound of Love yarn that I have. So I'm going to just cast on, and I'm going to do 50 plain rounds of this. Cut a tail and release this into the center of the machine. Now we're going to begin our stripes. We're going to do 10 rows with 5 rows of each color. I'm going to begin with the black just so that we have a smooth transition from our interior color to our exterior color. So put in your new color, the main color, and we're going to begin the color change. So once I get a quarter around the machine, I'm just going to tie a loose knot here, and I'm going to do this for every stripe. I am going to cut every stripe just because you get a smoother transition without jogs, which are the little jumps in a color change. So when we're done with the whole thing, we will tighten all those up, but for now we're just going to do a very loose, simple knot. So I'm going to do 5 rows of my black, cut a tail, release this into the machine. So now, I don't know if you noticed, this actually flipped back, and I just, as a little quick tutorial, if that ever happens, you need to make sure that the yarn is under this notch and wrapped around this white pin. So we want to make sure that that white pin has the yarn. And now we're going to take our gold and insert that. We're going to go again to the quarter point and tie a knot right here, and we're going to tie a knot, a very loose, just single knot, and we're going to do 5 rounds of the gold. Again, cut a tail and make sure it's wrapped around this last pin, the white pin. On the Sentro, it would be the last pink pin, and then this would be the white. And we're going to get our black again. We're going to get to the quarter point, tie a knot, and we're going to do 5 rounds of the black again. Cut a tail, release it into the middle of the machine, get the gold again, quarter point, we'll tie a knot. We're going to do 5 rounds of the gold. And we're going to do this until we have 10 stripes. I'm on my last color change, and we're going to stop right there. So now we're going to cut a tail that's quite long. I always prefer cutting it longer than necessary, just to be on the safe side. And we're going to release this tail into the middle of the machine. We're going to go around once to release these stitches from the hooks. And we're going to stop right there. Use a needle and put the end of this yarn on it. And we're going to go around and pick off all of our stitches. And then remove the work from the machine. So this is what our piece looks like freshly off the machine. So I'm going to pull all the stitches to tighten them up. And you can see how we have that really cute bumblebee pattern. So I'm going to flip this inside out. And I'm going to begin tightening up all of these color changes. So I'm going to start at the top. And for each one, you just want to look on the opposite side. Just make sure that you don't see a big color jog or jump between the colors. And I'm going to add a second knot to each tail. And again, I'm just looking to see that there's a smooth color transition between each stripe. And there are all of our colors secured. I'm going to trim these because they're going to be inside the hat. You don't actually have to weave any of these ends in. You can if you want, but it's really not necessary. I just don't want them to be really, really long like this. Now we're going to put the hat together. So with this bottom part, the interior part, I'm going to pull this tail until this all closes up very tightly. I'm going to put this on the end of my needle, and I want this tail inside the middle of the hat. So I'm just going to reach inside and grab that needle inside so that I can get that tail sticking out the opposite side, like that. Now I'm going to flip this interior part inside. So I see just where my decorative stitches begin. I'm just going to start to push this inside. So now we have our tail, this black string. Make sure that that is sticking out the middle. And now I'm going to start pulling the gold yarn string to pull the rest of it together. Pull on the black one so that this interior part is pushed all the way to the crown. And I'm going to tie, actually, first I'm going to make these shorter because they're very long. Now I'm going to tie several knots to make this very tight. And what's nice is these are not going to be visible at all once you put them inside. Okay, so here is the hat. Put these two ends on your needle and put them through the middle. And just grab it on the opposite side. And then we're going to just weave this into one layer, not the outside layer. And we're just going to cut these tails, let it slip into the middle of the hat, and they're now completely invisible. So this is what we have now, and it really looks like a bumblebee. Now we're going to begin making the pom-pom. So open up the pom-pom maker. I'm going to use both strands of the black and gold at the same time for a really cute contrasting color. On one end of the pom-pom maker, just to hold the tails with your hand and just begin wrapping around the half circle on one side. The amount of times you wrap around will determine the thickness of the pom-pom. When you get to the end, close that side, bring the yarn to the other side, and then just continue wrapping. Then close that side as well. Cut a tail, and you're also going to need a tail to secure the pom-pom. So now that this is closed, I'm going to insert my scissors where the separation is between the two sides, and I'm just going to begin cutting. And you can cut the long ends now. Then with this long tail, I'm going to slip this in the crack between the two sides, like that. And then I'm going to tie several very, very tight knots. And then I'm going to flip it around to the other side and tie another knot. And then I'm just going to do this a few times to secure it. Open up both arms of the maker and then pull them apart. And there is the pom-pom. And if you have a couple of longish ends, you can trim them. I like my pom-poms kind of long looking, so I'm not going to trim this down really short, but you can trim this to whatever density you want. And now I'm going to make a second one. So now I've completed my 2 pom-poms and I'm going to attach them to the hat. So I have this long needle that came with my Sentro machine, and I'm just going to thread both ends of yarn, and I'm going to, so I want the 2 pom-poms to look like that. So I'm going to insert this needle on the inside, and I just need to get one of these strands into a different stitch, and then I'm actually just going to tie a couple of knots. That holds it pretty well. So there's one, and then I'm going to put the other one on the other side. And for the second one, before I tie anything, just want to make sure that this is symmetrical. It's okay if it's not perfect the first time. I think that actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to do the same thing. Get one tail into a different stitch. Tie a couple of very tight knots. You can weave those ends in if you want. And there's the hat. It's really cute. It does look smaller when it's on a person's head, but you could either flip up the brim. You're not going to see this pretty yarn there, so actually I would fold it under if this is too big for the person you're making it for. So I would actually do it like that, just so that you see the stripes. Really cute. If you make this project, please let me know. If you come up with any modifications, please let me know. And please like and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye-bye.